Hey guys, I'm back with a second match that I'm breaking down. This one was the match directly after my match with Javad at Parabellum Quintet. This is against Oliver Taza. In this rule set that we did, you have 60 seconds to rest between your last win and the next match. I went into this right away. Taza pulled guard here, inverted, and we started getting some leg entanglements here in this position. Uh, and then I remember not really remembering how I got to the bottom, just in my head. Obviously we see it now. I kind of just um gave that position up. He was in a good position, so I didn't feel very comfortable. Here is something that he did that was really, really slick, and I wish I knew how to slow this down. But he's known. Oliver Taza is really known for entangling the legs and getting into that saddle position from the top position really, really well. He backsteps really well, and he does a couple of things here that I've been working on since this match, where he is facing his right, kind of like almost standing like in a like a longer stance where his feet are kind of wide, and then it's hard to see because you have the referee in the way, but his left leg was in between mine, and he pushed his left shin away from me to my left, which kind of turned my hips on its axis a little bit, and then was able to backstep really easily into this uh, honey hole saddle, whatever you want to call it, cross ashi position, and then we get to this position. Now, we study these rules a lot between me and Khalil. We study these rules a lot, and so one thing here that I'm doing that I don't recommend anybody else do in any other rule set is I'm crossing my entangled leg on the top. Okay, now this exposes my heel, um, in a way where if there were heel hooks allowed, I would be immediately heel hooked, like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So to note, there were no heel hooks allowed in this match, and I knew that, and I knew if I crossed the other direction, he would start working, better control of me, and maybe even working towards a knee bar, which it seemed like the whole team was working on, especially in their warm up prior to the matches starting. So I knew if I kept my entangled leg on top, he wouldn't be able to take advantage of the heel hook, and it would be a little bit harder for him to work the knee bar from that position. So don't do that if there are heel hooks allowed. If there are no heel hooks allowed, maybe try it out. I mean, I was in a really bad spot, and so I'm like, this is what I'm doing. So if you notice, maybe there's going to be a better angle here at some point. I'm crossing my entangled leg on top. Don't do this. If there are heel hooks allowed, you will be heel hooked immediately. Um, at this point, I'm just kind of trying to catch my breath here. Um, he came at me with like the righteous fury, um, and I felt it. I mean, he was super, super pumped up, super intense, and then here he is passing my guard. I'm working my frames here, trying to keep my arms nice and tight. Um, he's working. I believe he's going to start working towards a Kimura here at some point, or a Kimura grip at the very least. I'm just trying to keep everything tight. He's got a Kimura grip on my left arm, and he's trying to trap me here so he can go to this Sankaku position, I think. And that's a position I know really well. It's something that I do very often. And so I knew that if I tried to get away here, if I made any attempts to leave this position, he would submit me. So really what I had to do was do my best here to open my right elbow up and down. Okay, now, so this is kind of good and bad. My right hand was stuck behind the knee. Now this makes it extremely uncomfortable, and also very difficult to do much outside of winging my right elbow down. But he couldn't take advantage of any shoulder lock on this arm. Okay, and knowing that, I put all of my focus into winging this arm down and keeping my left arm, which you can't see right now, close to my body or as close to my body as I can. All right, now if you want, there's only one submission that he could finish here that is efficient enough without squeezing his legs out, and that would be to drop that. I'm sorry here. This right knee down on the mat on this side, and then rotate his shoulders to the left, and then kimura me. Um, a lot of people like to do like the triangle from here and get that submission, but the way that my arm was positioned, he was not blocking off my right carotid artery, and it's just going to be hard to finish that way, especially if you can't manipulate this arm. So he's working towards that grip. I can grab. I was grabbing my own rash guard. I think you're allowed to do that. I'm not totally sure. It didn't really matter at that point. I was going to take any advantage that I could. So yeah, so you see him, he's coming up here. Now, if he was able to drop that left shoulder down to the mat and create some space, then I think I would have gone down a little bit sooner. But yeah, there it is. And now I teach this in all my classes here whenever we work on kimuras and kimura defense. If you lift up the kimura shoulder, you're going to get kimura, unless you have insanely flexible shoulders. You have to drop that shoulder to the mat. That way your arm can't get behind you, okay? You're kind of packing your shoulder in. So here I am, I'm trying to, kind of elevate his hips a little bit, not doing a great job of it. And I'm just working as best I can. It's really hard to see because it's, this is like, these are like little, inches and centimeters that we're working on here. He's trying to lift my shoulder up, keep my right shoulder down, lift my left shoulder up. I'm trying to do the exact opposite. I'm trying to lift my right shoulder up and keep my left shoulder down. And using my palm here, or the flat of my hand, I'm trying to drive that into the mat so he can't lift it up and place it behind my back. So here we are. He's continuing to do this. I mean, this is just such a horrible position for me to be in. I think so many times I was going in my head, I want to just let him take it and just end this horrific match. But as you guys saw, as I was saying that, because I was able to get this shoulder off the mat, I was lifting this foot up a little bit, or his shin, I was able to slip my elbow out. And also, I was soaked at this point. I'd already had it like 6 or 7 minutes with Javad, and then now another 2.5 at an extremely high pace with Taza, even though I was being purely defensive this entire time. Trying to elevate him here, and then he's going to slide back into, yeah, there it is. Slides right back into that cross-ashi position, or that saddle position. And then again, I knew that he couldn't heel hook me, so I took advantage of that. So he just worked to pass my guard, which is what you should do there. And then here he is working towards my back, trying to trap me, eventually going to this armbar position. Okay. Funny enough, like all these things that he's doing here from this position, I really like to do myself. So I knew what I should be doing, but he was able to keep so tight, and his technique is so good here that he's just able to eventually stretch my arm out and make that finish. And Taz is a guy that I've been watching for, I don't know, probably like the last 3 years, maybe even 4 years. He's still a brown belt, I believe, but I mean he's very, very good. And I've trained with him once before in New York. And I've always wanted to have a match against him, and this was not the way that I wanted the match to go, obviously. And I'd love to have another one with him at some point, and give a better showing, and maybe be a little bit offensive at some point, But this is just the way things go sometimes, and you can't always focus on when you win. You have to a lot of times focus on when you lose and why you lost, and how that is going to affect your game going forward. A lot of people, they take losses kind of hard. I'm not typically one of those people, unless I make just horrific mistakes. This one was, he just beat me in every position, and that was the mistake. Was I wasn't as good in this match as he was, and but that's something that I can deal with. So for you guys who are getting into competition or who are seasoned competitors, who are looking to do better and kind of make that next leap into higher level competition, you know, uh, pay attention to your losses. Don't let them consume you. Pay attention to your losses. Figure out why you lost, okay, and not just because the ref did this or oh, I didn't expect that, or really break it down. Why did you lose? Why didn't you expect that to happen? Uh, why was he better than you in these positions? And then eventually you get enough losses like that, you will become better. You almost have no choice. If you continue to train after losing and you kind of take those that methodical that method of approaching things where, like, all right, I lost here, now let me improve this position, and that position. Eventually you'll get better, and you'll if you fight that person again, you may do better, you may win, who knows. But I took a lot from this match, and so there's some things that I did well, a lot of things that I did not, and take advantage of that, guys. Watch the thing, watch this again. Look at all the things that I didn't do well. Not properly moving my legs to get out of these leg entanglements and all that stuff, and not defending my back well enough, and then maybe you can avoid some of these mistakes in your own matches. Okay. I hope you guys like this. Drop a comment here if you have any questions about any other matches. I'm probably gonna do a few of these. I don't, I'm definitely taking suggestions on any matches that you guys want to see. I've got quite a few on YouTube. There are some on like UFC Fight Pass, and probably some on my Facebook. There are matches everywhere. Flow Grappling, I don't know if I'm allowed to rip any of those matches off, but maybe I will.